Good morning, dear students. In today's class, we'll be studying the topic fiber to fabric. Under this topic, you'll be learning the meaning of fibers, different types of fibers, process of separating fiber from plants, different steps for the formation of yarn from fiber. So, if you just visit a clothing shop, you would find a different varieties of fabrics in that surroundings. It can be like your bed sheets, blankets, curtains, tablecloth, towels, school bags, etc. So you find variety of fabrics around the place, which will differ in their texture, colors, etc. How are we producing these varieties of fabric? So let us learn that through this topic, fiber to fabric. If you just look into the history of clothing, during the ancient times, people used bark, big leaves of trees, or animal skins first to cover themselves. As the civilization started to improve, they learned to weave twigs and grasses into mats, baskets, etc. Also started making the twines or long strands using the animal fleece or hair. So slowly they developed different fibers like cotton and learned to drape them around the body. Stitching was not known until the invention of the needle, which is made out of bone. So once the needle was invented, stitched cloths were made with different types. So as now we have different varieties of fabrics and clothing material existing. So how are these fabrics exactly made? So if you take a piece of fabric or a piece of cloth, you would find a particular pattern, something like this, in your piece of fabric or any kind of material. So if you take that piece of fabric and observe and tend to loosen the threads, you would see a kind of strands coming out of the fabric that is nothing but your yarn. So in turn, you just take your yarn and if you try to twist the yarn in the opposite direction, you see these kinds of tiny strands, very thinner strands coming out of the yarn. Many thinner strands, those are nothing but your fibers. So what are these fibers? Fibers are very thin thread-like strands from which the fabric or cloth is made. So to get a fabric or cloth, fibers are very important. So where do we get this fibers from? So we get the fibers from two main sources. So henceforth we have different types of fibers existing. Those are natural fibers and synthetic fibers. So under natural fibers you have further divisions. So let us see what are these. So natural fibers are the materials obtained from plants and animals. So the fibers which are obtained from plants and animals, you call them as natural fibers. Example, the plant fiber and animal fiber. What are synthetic fibers? Synthetic fibers are nothing but the man-made fibers, the materials produced by man using some of the chemicals. You call them as synthetic fibers. For example, nylon, polyester, etc. These natural fibers can be further divided into plant fiber and animal fiber. So under plant fibers, you have cotton, jute, flax, etc. But in this chapter, we'll be studying about cotton, jute. How exactly we extract the fibers from cotton plant and jute plant. Some of the animal fibers are wool and silk, which we are obtaining from the animals. So in the next class we shall learn how the fibers are obtained from jute plant.